British folklore is a legend in its own right. From the Brythonic myths and legends, the folk religion, medicine and culture, through traditional song and dance, calendar customs and popular beliefs, to plant and weather lore, sayings, proverbs and nursery rhymes, it is our folk traditions that make Britain weird. The first reference to the horn dance was at the Bartlemy Fair in 1226. One of the oldest traditions in Europe, the antlers are reindeer, carbon dated to 1065. Nobody knows exactly how old. What we do know from the archaeological finds at Star Car is that the wearing of antlers goes back to the Mesolithic. The dance sets off from the village church of St Nicholas, where the antlers hang year-round. After dancing the first dance at around 8 AM on the village green, alongside the historic 17th century buttercross, the dance sets off. There are 6 deermen, a hobby horse and a boy with a bow and arrow, a fool, Maid Marian, a man in a dress, and 2 musicians. The route is a 10-mile circuit around the parish, with regular stops where the dance is performed. One dancer wearing a pedometer clocked up 27 miles. The purpose of the dance has been lost, but a strong contender is a fertility ritual. It is said that should a woman be hit by the inflated pig's bladder that the fool carries, she will be pregnant by the time the ritual comes around next year. The fertility ritual theory is further strengthened by the moves within the dance. They raise their antlers as if they are about to fight, back away, then advance and lock horns, mimicking the rutting of the deer. Abbots Bromley horn dance is held on Wakes Monday, the Monday following the first Sunday after the 4th of September. It really is a grand day out. Was Will Shakespeare writing about the horn dance when he penned the lines in 1599 in As You Like It? Take thou no scorn to wear the horn, it was a crest ere thou wast born. Thy father's father wore it, and thy father bore it too. Padstow's Hobbyos celebration is one of the oldest surviving festivals in the UK, famous for both its age and its uniqueness. Thought to have its origins in pagan fertility rites, the hobby horse is primarily a celebration of Beltane, the Celtic festival which honours the approach of summer. The star of the event is the hobby horse. It's a peculiar looking structure and there's nothing quite else like it in the English calendar. Actually, there are 2 hobbyioses these days, but that's a story in its own right. The original Old Oss and the Blue Ribbon Hobbyos. With his tail at the top and his head pointing down to the ground, this is the Old Oss with his teaser in front of him. The tradition begins at midnight outside the Golden Lion Hotel, where the Old Oss is stabled. Participants sing the night song as April turns to May with the promise of warmer days ahead. This tells of the need to unite, arise and celebrate. Following this prologue, a maypole is then erected and the town decorated with the first greenery of the year. Bluebells, cowslips, forget-me-nots, catkins of hazel and sycamore twigs. The celebrations begin early on May Day when the stable doors are opened and the osses emerge. The followers dressed in white with red or blue sashes, dancers, accordions, drums and triangles coming before the oss, all to celebrate the coming of spring. Around the harbour first and then up the narrow streets, the hobby oss dances and gyrates with his clan of followers, even into houses and gardens. If the hoss successfully captures a maiden beneath his skirts, then by the following year she will either be married or pregnant. With thousands of onlookers, the festivities go on all day and into the evening. In the darkest months of the year, should you be in Wales, A mysterious and menacing white horse may very well appear before your very eyes. You will have just encountered the terrifying and weird tradition of the Mary Lloyd, a creepy-looking horse skull with a clacking jaw, decorated with colourful reins, bells and ribbons, with baubles placed in the eye sockets as eyes, then mounted on a pole. The whole thing is operated by a man who is hidden beneath a ghostly white cloak draped from the Mary's neck. The origins of the Mary are deeply mysterious. The first written reference to her is in 1798 by J. Evans in A Tour Through Part of North Wales. Her name is equally obscure. One Welsh translation of it, the Grey Mare, connects it to the heritage of pale horses in Celtic and British mythology, many of whom can cross over to the underworld. The majority of opinion puts Mary as having pre-Christian pagan origins. Although this is impossible to prove, there is definitely something agelessly terrifying about her. The horse has always played a large part in ancient mythologies of the cultures that we now call Celtic. In these cultures, horses played a prominent role in everyday life and survival. They were treated with great respect, treasured and well cared for. The belief was that the care given to the horses was reciprocated and that the horse was a protector. Traditionally, the Mary is taken around the village accompanied by an ostler and other characters. At each house they engage in a ritual called punko, an exchange of insulting rhymes in song form with the residents inside. If Mary and her gang wins the punko, she gains entrance to the house, where she is fed and watered, and the household is said to have good luck for the forthcoming year. The Mary is known to be very mischievous and will chase the children and women of the house, trying to steal things that she likes and causing general mayhem. All folk traditions vary from place to place and evolve with time. Mary Lloyd seems to be a strange mix of ancient Celtic Brythonic beliefs in the ability of the horse to cross the boundary with the other world and offer protection, coupled with the fertility and abundance aspects of wassail and a good sprinkling of mummers' play thrown in. Due to the Industrial Revolution and nonconformist preachers, we had almost lost the Mary Lloyd by the 1960s. Then, true to form, she came back to life. There are now many places where you can go to witness the Mary Lloyd. There are even a few events where you can join in. Chepstow hold a combined wassail and Mary celebration. Dinesmawddwy in Gwynedd celebrate Mary Lloyd on or close to the 13th of January. Travelling from pub to pub instead of house to house, she starts at the Brigand's Inn and finishes at the Llw Coch. Lyric sheets are provided so that you can join in with the verses. Accompanied by Welsh musicians, Mary and her gang provide entertainment, and a tumpath, a Welsh ceilidh, is held outside, finishing usually in the early hours of the morning. This is the Mary Lloyd in action.
Oh, Celtic,